something we all need. Gotta have it now if you wanna succeed. Striving, surviving, that's no doubt. Sticking together, we gon' find a way out. To all you young people, give it your all. To all you young people, give it your all. To all you young people, give it your all. To all you young people, give it your all.
Good afternoon, the Back community. Thank you as always for staying involved. Thank you for staying engaged. Today, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about this next generation of leaders and thinkers and a business-minded youth. I have the representative or one of the representatives of this generation, Ayyub Ali. And I can't wait to dive into his story. This young man has already authored his first book, and we're going to get into that later. There's so many things I really just want to talk to you about, where your motivation comes from and what you're focusing in on. But first things first, Ayyub, thank you for being on the Back community, and I can't wait to dive into your story.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, listen, my first question I always like to give everybody when they come on is, one, I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to everyone. So let us know what it is that you do. Obviously, you're still a student, but, you're an entrepreneur, author, all these other things. So here's your opportunity, Ayyub, to tell the Back community more about you.
Alrighty, so my name is Ayyub Ali. Well, just you guys could just call me Ayyub, but yeah, Ayyub. I'm 15 years old. I'm an entrepreneur, author. Do a little bit of speaking here and there, and now I can consider myself a content creator as well. So pretty much a little bit about my early beginnings. I was born. Not a lot of people know this, but I was born in Troy. And raised in Albany, New York. I had gotten my start into this whole entrepreneurship thing when my mom first took me to the Lark Fest. That's known as the biggest one-day street festival in upstate. So she took me there to sell water bottles. And ever since then, I've just been always active, in the entrepreneurship space, and I just love doing it. First because of, there were at the time I wasn't able to work or get a real job, and that was one way for me to, make money. So that was the early times, and then my mom had actually married Kasir, who is now my stepfather. We
I can imagine you got involved in all types of other things.
Yeah. And a lot of connections have come through that, through the friends of the family, and then real family members. So one of those connections was Brother Quadir, he was one of my mentors, and one of the days he had most of this I don't want to give too much out because I'm basically telling what's in the book, but
so don't do that. Don't tell the people all the business.
Just a little gist. He had introduced me into selling air fresheners, so I did that for a little bit. I was making a decent amount of money with that, and I was enjoying it, just going up to random people and really challenging myself to see how well I could speak to people. So at the same time, while I was, making money, I was also becoming a, legit salesman. So a lot of that came from, just going up to people, overcoming my fear, because naturally, I feel like some people think that I'm a extrovert, but I still really don't consider myself that, but I would consider myself really in the middle. Like I'm not too afraid to go up to random people, but I don't just go up to random people randomly. But
well, let me tell you this though, that's going to be what sets you apart, right? I literally just did a college fair for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, right? And most of the young adults who came up to me had their parents speaking for them. That's not something that I see you doing. Whenever I see you, you out here pushing your own book. You out here, you're able to speak. I know you and I both were at the Capital New York State Black Expo, and you don't have to be totally an extrovert, right? But when it's time to speak or when it's time to turn it on, you know how to turn it on, and that's what's going to set you apart. I didn't want to cut you off, but I just wanted to hone in on that point, because most of your generation, especially after COVID for the last 2.5 years, right? On top of the fact that everyone has their phones all of the time, or looking down, or connecting online, we miss that regular day-to-day interaction of just being able to open our mouths, to touch, to talk to other people. And I think those skills are going to make you so much more marketable and valuable. And it's just common skills, but a lot of people don't have that common skill anymore. Are you?
No, I definitely agree. And even now, like I said, there's still times when even I get nervous to go up to, like, just go up and speak in front of a lot of people, or just going up to someone. Turn these notifications off. Yeah, going to speaking to someone individually, one by one. That's probably the time that I get most of the nerves. It's because you never know what you can expect out of those sorts of scenarios. But like I said, I like challenging myself to put myself in those situations, because over the years, by doing that a lot, I've gotten more comfortable doing it, and it has mostly benefited me doing that. So that's what I appreciate about it.
Okay. All right. Well, definitely keep it going. One, because like I said, it's really going to set you apart. But one of the things I'm going to get into you with, and I think you've already alluded to it, was how you got into or how you got the interest of being an entrepreneur. And I know a lot of that had to do with your mom exposing you to the what was going on Lark Street. But it has grown, it has blossomed, and it has developed you into being you, to the point that I have one of your works of art directly here with me, which is your first book that you authored, called I'll Start Now. And I remember when it first released, right? And I think I randomly got a pop-up message on like Messenger or something like that. It was like, hey, would you like to buy my book? And I'm just like, is this spam? So I wasn't really sure if it was spam or not, or was it an actual person, but I ended up buying it in person when I came to Albany. Shout out to Just down there at Fresh and Fly, because he had the book in the store, and I ended up buying it in the store. But tell me a little bit more about I'll Start Now, why you wanted to write this book, and what has it been like for you being an author at age 15?
So really quickly, actually, I'm glad that you brought up the whole messenger part, because I do want to sort of explain that a little bit. So when I first published the book, I didn't really push it out that much. First, when I first published it, I rushed the editing. I didn't pay for an editor, so there was I rushed the publishing, the only thing that I'm glad that I didn't rush was the cover process, because I knew that if I had a good cover, then most of the stuff would just fall in line with itself, because that would be the grabber, what would get people to want to read it. So yeah. So then my grandfather, about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I was just sitting on the book at that time, and he was like, Ayyub, you got a really good book here, you should push it. So once he had told me that, I really just, like I said, took advantage of the connections of my mom and my stepfather, Kasir, and I had messaged pretty much a lot of their friends.
Yep.
So that one of those mutual friends was you. So I was just messaging everybody, like, hey, can I buy my book? And now that I look back at it, I could have went about it a little bit differently, not being a little bit pushy. But still I got a lot of great connections from that.
Yep.
Also I ended up messaging Paul, who's
Mm.
who's in charge of the Red Bookshelf, and then he ended up buying a bunch of copies. Then that led to him speaking with Julia, Miss Obi, and
Mm.
she what is she was able to get my book into schools, so 2 schools. So that was great, and that just goes back to what I was saying, how like when the time comes,
Mm.
um I do know how to try to I do know how to, communicate, speak.
Yep.
So that's what I wanted to speak on really quickly, just for, if anybody's watching that, it's a
Mm.
show, like even that time I was still nervous, and
Mm.
just that's mainly what the book is about. You just
Mm.
start.
Yep.
So now to go into the book, you asked me what made me want to write it.
What made you want to write it, and how has it been as an author?
So what made me want to write it was I was sitting. My auntie, she had actually wrote a book, um and then I had what is the book called? Oh, But Mommy, I Need You.
Mm.
So that was I saw that around me. I have a couple authors around me, about two or three, but and then I also had a friend, his name was Abdul Rahim. He had wrote a book about how to, try to deal with your parents being divorced. So
Mm.
so I had that around me, but I wanted to try to, share like my story on what I've been, some of the obstacles that I had to face while on my journey to
Mm.
become an entrepreneur, and how I overcame them.
Mm.
So I actually started writing it before COVID happened,
Mm.
just to try to inspire. It was
Mm.
mainly just to inspire, people my age, just if they were interested in doing something, to not let age become a barrier for
Mm.
them. Uh, so that's why I wrote it. And like I said, I started writing it before COVID. And then even me, I started procrastinating on it a little bit, because I was like, I don't, it's going to be a lot of work to finish it and
Yeah.
do all the stuff because the stereotype around a book is that it's always it's hard to make.
Mm.
And it takes a lot of time to do it, which I don't think it's a stereotype, because if you do put a lot of time and effort to it, that is true. But yeah, so after school had shut down, I was like, okay, I have nothing really better to do. I didn't want to
Mm.
just, play video games all day, because I liked playing video games, but I was never really the person to, play it all day for no reason. So
Yeah.
even when I was in that, I had even tried, the being a YouTuber with that in the game. So I was never really the person to do that for no reason, just because I personally felt like it was a waste for me, or I always felt like I could be doing something better.
Gotcha.
But but um but yeah, so school is shut down. I was like, okay, I got nothing better to do. Let me just finish writing it. And so yeah, I finished writing it, and I just, like I said, rushed to publish it and just put it out there. So that's how that went.
Okay. Okay. And how has it been received, like from your peers? Like I said, man, you're a young entrepreneur. He's like, imagine going to school and be like, hey, what I mean, Ayyub, you got a book, man. I got your book. How has that experience changed you, or has it changed you at all? the fact that now you have a piece of or work of art out here in the world that everyone can always associate themselves with. Has that changed your day-to-day life at all? Has it changed your interaction among your peers or people above you as well?
I mean, when I published it, school was out, so people, and I just put it out there, but I did get a decent amount of feedback from it. Like teachers, since it was being shared on Facebook, some of my teachers have found out. Pretty much most of the school knew, and then the school had bought about 5 copies from me, and then and then this was the school that I went to, KIP. Matter of fact, if they're watching this, they definitely need to get some more copies.
Yeah.
Five
It's time to level up. Time to level up.
Yeah. Not my own alma mater. But yeah, so and then the student, and then my classmates, yeah, some of them knew about it. But
it wasn't out there as well as it could be. Which is what leads us to the relaunch of I'll Start Now. And that's here's the thing, right? You're 15, and I'm just gonna say this, one of the best things that could ever happen to any of us is that we have experience to learn from. So there's people that are my age and older than me that haven't dared to complete what it is that you have done already at your young age. So of course, through experience, you're gonna learn different things that like, man, I wish I would have tried that. So but I can only imagine what this relaunched approach is going to do for you. I can only imagine what is going to come next in all your other entrepreneurial activities that you're going to do, because experience is the best teacher, and it always makes us better as long as we're open to correction, as long as we're open to criticism. And I don't mind failing, right? I hate not doing my best job at anything though. So, if I fail, but I did my best job, I'm okay with that. So, but even you revisiting the thought of how the rollout could be, and then learning from other authors or about other authors' processes is what's going to make this next rollout even better, which is why I'm glad I get to share with that. I get to share in that with you by having you on the back community, because who you are and what you're doing is it needs to be highlighted even more, because entrepreneurship is something that most adults are trying to tell their kids is a viable path, right? But most of us didn't know how to get involved in it. Most of us didn't know that it was possible for us. But I see you, and every time I see you, I light up because I know it's possible. And it's something that could be taught as early as 13, 14, even earlier for some, right? So, I'm really excited about this relaunch and actually helping to get this out to more individuals, because, yeah, you're in Albany, but you have the capacity to touch so many other youth over this, across the United States. And part of it is how we get it out to people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And with in regards to the rollout, I don't think I have regrets doing it like that either. But I did learn from it. So I personally, I feel like a lot of times, we as people, including myself, struggle with trying to be perfect before just starting something. So you want to be the best at it before you even have experience doing it. So I don't regret that I put it out like that, because now I can do it better. And I probably would have never put it out at all if I was always focused on trying to get it now. That's different from striving for perfection and not starting at all because you want something to be perfect. Because at the end of the day, there's there's always honestly gonna be one mistake that your own eyes are gonna miss every time. Like even when someone had re-edited the book and then I was looking over it, there's plenty of times that I kept missing over things and had to re-look it over plenty of times. So yeah, I think that at first you shouldn't let perfection stop you from just starting. So yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons why I started the content creation thing too, with the videos that I'm doing. I was always focused on, okay, wow, I don't have this, I don't have this great camera, I don't have this great lighting, but and then I even started, my hairline was, even hurting. I was
He
like,
said, listen, my hairline ain't ready for it either.
yeah, but part of growing up too is learning that you shouldn't really care about others, what other people that don't matter opinion. So I don't really focus on that too much anymore like I used to. If there's something that I feel like I want to do, I just do it. I don't really think about it too much, because then that's where the procrastination starts to come in. So yeah.
No, listen, I think that's a great message in your book and behind your book. And it's not something that is limited to just young adults, because the motto behind I'll start now is this: any time could be the right time, right? And you can make it the right time if you just start now. There's no such thing as perfect, right? There's always going to be something that you find. And I also like that you mentioned earlier, was just like this go around, you decided to make sure that you didn't skip on or skim on the editing process. And that was one of the things when I wrote my book that I was gun ho on about. And it's like, I'm an avid reader. I can scan for things, but I'm also not going to put it in my own hands to try to edit my work, because I'm going to miss everything, because I'm going to see it. I'm going to read it the way that I see it or the way that I hear it. And so that means I'm going to be at a disadvantage. So I'm glad this go around, you were just like, nope, you know what? I'm going to put it in the hands of somebody else to help point out the things that I can't see. So, and I think a lot of people, because editing, if you do copy editing or development editing, that can be one of the most expensive parts of the process, but I think it's the most beneficial part of the process as well. And you end up getting what you pay for. So
Yeah.
But hold on. I'm not gonna, don't worry. I'm not just gonna limit you here to the book, because there's so many different parts about who you are and what you're doing. And today you're going to be the representative for your generation, because I got so many questions. Like, like why? Why are Crocs in? Why does everyone want sweatpants? What is it about Nike Tech? I got questions, man. I got questions, and I'm coming to you for my questions. My first question is do you have a mentor? And if so, how beneficial is it for you to have a mentor? If not, do you think it would be beneficial for you to have one?
So yeah, I would say my main mentors would be honestly the male figures of my life. So like I said, Brother Kadir, my grandfather, and Kasir, and then even my own dad sometimes. So yeah, I think it's very important to have someone like that, because I think that my generation, well, I'm gonna just actually just speak for me,
Okay.
right now. A lot of times I do, and sometimes people do say this about me, my inner circle, how I feel like that I know everything, and I think that that's something that I am learning to work through. But I think that's a positive and a negative for me, and then also my generation, because now we're able to, cross so many lines that past people, that our past generations, weren't willing to cross. So you can look at that as a positive and a negative, or even both, because now you see, like, more than ever, all these young entrepreneurs coming out, and you know yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think I think you guys are a lot more fear doesn't consume you as much as it did for my generation, or for my elders above me, right? You guys are fearless, which is just like, well, I got this idea, I want to try it, and I'm gonna try it, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
there's definitely a lot of advantages to it, but I also like the honesty that you just gave, where it's just like, not not allowing the pressure of knowing it all um to, one, ruin your relationships with everyone around you, but to also put you in a position to always be willing to learn. And that's one of the things that I learned. It was just like, some people have natural skills that just come to them, like, oh, I'm great with numbers, or I'm great with reading, or I'm great with building things, right? But then
Mhm.
there's other people who are willing to learn, and they will outlast the people who just have talents. That's what Jadakiss said one time in one of his lines. He was like, hard work would beat talent if the talent don't work hard. So as long as you're willing to improve, as long as you're willing to accept criticism, as long as you're willing to develop, you're going to continue to develop. And you always want to, you use the word circle. And that was something that we just talked about when I was up there in Albany. We had dinner, me, Just, this guy Trent, my best friend Scooby, and our friend Julie from Berkshire. And in that conversation, we were just talking about the importance of having a good circle, right? That's your friends, that's your family, that's the people you're going to as to mentor you, right? And it's
Mhm.
super important to have a good circle and to audit your circle, which means that sometimes you got to remove people from your circle that aren't bringing to the team. They're not what is it? It's not reciprocal. Sometimes people are there to take, sometimes people are never there to give. But auditing your circle is something that I think that at your age in life, if you can understand the importance of that, it's really going to help you through everything else that you do. Saying, I want to be aligned with people who want similar things as I do. It doesn't mean I can't be friends with other people, because I can, because I want all of the experience. But I also got to realize that my success is going to come based upon the people in my circle and who I decide to align myself with. But I love that you are already introspective enough to say, hey, you know what? Well, these are some of the comments that I'm getting, right? And you'll take in some of the comments that you might be getting and say, hey, I can stand to improve on here. But then ultimately, who you decide to be and who you decide to produce as the Ayyub that you create or show to the world is going to be your best product. So listen, when I say that I get worried for a lot of your generation, and in a lot of ways. But when I see you, when I'm around you, I'm not worried about you. You seem to have a really good head on your shoulders. One thing I will say is that, you know, remember to enjoy being young, right? Enjoy being young. And I think that I have seen several times over and over again about the pressures of growing up too early, and you're going to have the rest of your life to be grown. So, what I mean? Understand, yes, it's very important to continue to do exactly what you're doing, but also enjoy being young. That would be something, if there was nothing else that you take away from me in this interview, my advice to you is to enjoy being young, enjoy your youth, because you're gonna spend way more time being old than the amount of time that you have being young, and make time for both. Make time for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
But let me see. One of the things that I always like, I always like to ask everybody on this show well, especially for you. Albany used to have tons of programs. Every part of the city that you went to, I mean, there was a program, and I mean, there's a boys and girls club almost everywhere. There's a rec center everywhere. There was all types of after school programs, and we don't have a lot of those programs anymore. But what kind of things are you involved in outside of school that keeps you occupied?
Um, well, I'm gonna be 100% honest. These past couple months, or really like 6 months to a year, it's really just been me, in here, just working.
Okay.
Um, so yeah. At the same time, I am still trying to find how to balance my you know my time for socialism, and
Mm,
at the same time, while not sacrificing too much for my future. So
mm,
that's something that I'm still trying to work on. But as far as outside things, I would say working with All Street Global,
okay.
my stepfather's company. So actually, the past summer, we had went to Harriet Meyer's residence,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
we were there for the whole month, and that was a cool experience.
Mm,
We were teaching the photography and
mm,
videography. Uh, you know, it was a really hands-on
mm,
month. So I would say that, and learned a lot. Learned about the inner things to know about videography,
mm,
such as the 3-point lighting, the framing and composition,
mm,
things like that. And then at the end of that, we had also did the t-shirts, where we made the
mm.
t-shirts for the last project. So yeah, I would say when I have time, I do find outside things to do. But
Okay.
really, honestly, it's been a really busy um couple months.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that'll lead me to my next question, though. Like I said, I know we have the relaunch with the book, but there's some other projects that you're working on. So tell us a little bit more about these other endeavors that are keeping you so busy.
So yeah, I've actually been working on a company um called Greener Teen.
Mm,
So pretty much Greener Teen is a media slash publishing company that was designed to provide ways for teens to learn more about finance, and a little bit about health through forms of media,
mm,
including videography, uh videography, blogs,
yep.
um, publishing, videography, photography, things like that. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been working on, specifically building the website for that
Mm,
by myself has been, a lot, because I've been trying to really get that, learning how to do the website while doing it. Um, that's been yeah, that's taken up some time, and then
mm,
getting the relaunch ready. So yeah, like I said, Greener Teen, that's Greener Teen, and then Greener Teen is also the publishing company now, where I'm trying to provide a sort of space for people my age, to
mm,
publish their work through. Um, and one of the worst is my book, my first book. So that's now under Greener Teen, since I didn't want to
nice.
be too attached to my business. I wanted to separate a lot of things,
Mm,
because I do consider the book in itself as a business.
mm,
Um,
yep.
since I am self-published, So that's been a lot. But yeah.
Okay. Listen. I like your lingo. I like the fact that you're understanding the different terminologies of the business that you're actually in, right? A lot of times, when you have younger entrepreneurs, they may not know the ins and outs of the actual business that they're actually in, and it seems like you are taken to understanding the full process of it, which is going to make you an even better businessman, because you're understanding the ins and the outs of the business, where a lot of people just say, well, here, just tell me what to do, or just take this and then you do something with it. But you are creating it, but you're also creating a platform where you can help to showcase and highlight other people's works as well. So I'm glad that you said that, your business is now the publisher for your book. I did the same thing as a self-publisher, right?
Yeah.
The Back Community is the publisher for Just a Kid from Arbor Hill, right? And it's also, I can take the experiences that I learned going through that process and share them with other authors and help them to navigate that process, because writing is an art and it is a skill, but publishing and marketing is a whole nother beast to it too, to be able to get it out. Yeah.
Goodness, that those three things that you said, those could really be categorized into three separate businesses
Mm.
itself. The advertising, and then learning how to publish and all that stuff. But to just before we move on to the next subject, to elaborate a little bit more on why I chose the media company, was first, to separate the book from me, really, as far as the business side, and taxes and things like that. But the other reason is because I think that media is really one of the most important / impactful things for my generation specifically. Yeah, media is probably the biggest, if not the second biggest influence on our lives. So first it comes your surroundings, your environment, who you surround yourself with, and then it's pretty much media, what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, things like that. So that's why I wanted to touch that market, because I've been seeing a lot of negative media push towards my generation. So I want to try to, flip that a little, not try, I want to flip that sort of narrative from, negative, or at least do the best that I can. So yeah, I really do think that could be really a really big thing. I plan on in the future probably hiring other youth to be under that company. So yeah, I have a lot in store for that.
I love it. Yeah, because you put yourself in a position, like you said, to not only separate yourself from the book, but allow it to have a place in the platform where it's going to blossom and become its own thing. But yeah, listen, if I had the confidence and the skills at your age, I can only imagine, what I would have been doing at that age. And it's like sometimes, the things that I consider possible now, I didn't always consider them possible at your age. And I know you got my book there in your house there too. So I didn't always see it, but I see it now, right? So like I said, once again, when I see you, you are the full embodiment of, with the right support, with the right opportunities, the mindset and the mindset that we can create in our young adults, because we end up losing so many of our young adults to stupid stuff, right, over nothing before people really get a chance to grow, to blossom to their full potential. And like I said, so we want to highlight more individuals like yourself. So it sounds like where you're going with your website and publishing is pretty much similar to where I am too. Where so I want to highlight positivity on the Back Community podcast, because everything else is negative. We hear about deaths, we hear about shootings, we hear about bad things, but we should be focusing in on the people who are being a part of the struggle, who are actually trying to make things better for everybody and not just themselves, because there's a lot more positive people out here in the world than there are negative. But there's always the platforms to hear all the negative. So I'm glad you're diving into social media and realizing the importance of social media, right? And, it has to be balanced a little bit more. We have to see more positive influences. We have to hear from more people who look like us, because we learn from the successes and the failures of people who look like us. So we need to see more people who look like us, so that way we can identify what is possible. And that's what I get from you. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Let me see. I'm going to ask you another question too, though. If at age 15, what about your life's path are you most proud of?
That's a good question. I don't know. And I don't think I can answer that yet, just because I personally don't really take the time to look at that really. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I do feel like that's a good and a bad thing, because a lot of times I do know that that greatness does come from, not even, I don't even want to use that word. Just being the best version of yourself comes from working to be better than the last version of yourself every day. So I never the reason why I can't give that answer on the spot is because I don't really, take the time to, focus on my accomplishments really, because honestly, I don't feel like I've done anything yet. Just because I'm so young, and I know what I can do. So yeah, but I would probably say the book so far, honestly. There's been times when people have gone up to me and said that wow, your book is a really great book. It helped so and so with this, helped so and so do this. So yeah, I would probably say the book so far.
Okay.
And yeah, probably the honestly that.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good one. But I'm also going to, what is it? I'm going to add on to that one. The book is a great one, and it's a material prize, right? It's one of the things that you created. But I think you being alive, happy, healthy, and whole is an accomplishment all by itself, Ayyub, right? Because when we go back to what we just was talking about negativity, unfortunately, there's a lot of young people that we end up losing, right, before they get a chance to see their full potential. I believe, and I know you got tons of other things that you're going to create as you continue to grow, as you continue to mature. But one of the things I'm also going to impart on you too is that enjoy the successes as you're going through them as well, right? And like I said, you being able to be academically astute and do well in school, you being able to be an entrepreneur and think about creating jobs and opportunities for other people, you being a great son, right? You being a great grandson, you being a great brother. You know what I mean? Those are major accomplishments. And, you know, sometimes we don't understand how to process that. But I'm letting you know those are major accomplishments as well, right? There was a word I learned when I got kicked out of school and I finished up at night school, and it was a word called introspection, and it's an examination of one's own feelings and thoughts. And when I learned that word, it changed everything for me. I'm just like, wow, you know, because I always thought I was a thinker anyway, right? But I was just like, man, I started pondering on my feelings a lot and realizing. So like when I asked you the question, you just like, I don't really know. I haven't really taken the time to think about it. But remember the same way, the same amount of time that you're carving out into being an entrepreneur, right? Take that same amount of time to or equal value, and make sure that you know you're processing how you feel, you're processing who you are, and you're able to assess the wins along the way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I am glad to be living. That's one thing, and probably the glad to be surrounded around the right people. Because honestly, I wouldn't be able to do this without them. I like I said, your environment is probably the main thing that impacts you. And you know, so far I've had a great environment to grow up around. So that honestly is the thing that I'm most grateful of.
I love it. I love it. Well, let me see, man. I already know you are a busy man. But I have one question that I do want to hit you with before you go. And what is your favorite place to visit in the Capital District area? I know you originally were born in Troy, but you grew up in Albany, but I know that you've traveled throughout the Capital District. What's your favorite place to visit and why?
Man, that's a good question. Hey, yeah, like I said, I was born in Troy, but I don't even think I've lived there for a week.
Okay.
But so I've been here most of my life, but my favorite place of the capital region.
Mhm.
Um oh man. Dang, I
It's
don't even
gotta
know.
you gotta have a bread and butter. It's something that you know brightens you up, makes you smile every time you get a chance to go. Where is that for you?
Mm, I would say, well, physical place, you know, like inside place. I would probably say the trampoline park.
Okay.
Sky Zone, love it there. But outside place, I would have to say, um, man, I like the Hudson River. I like the Hudson
Okay.
River.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Listen, down at the waterfront has always been one of my favorite spots. I go down there. I go down there and go play chess. I like to sit down there
oh
early in the morning, get my thoughts all together, and just listen to the water. You know.
yeah. I don't go over there too much, but when I do go over there, I do enjoy it over there. But I there's probably one that I just can't think of it right now.
Okay.
Man,
Okay. Okay. Well,
yeah,
listen, man, you got to let me know and you got to let the audience know where they can find you at. You know, as we talked about, media is a huge platform, and I want everyone to know where they can find you at, Ayyub. So please let us know, how do we find you on social media? Do you have Instagram? Do you got Facebook? Do you have a website? Here's your opportunity to promote where we can find you at.
so you can follow me on Instagram at just period AYYUB, just Ayub. You can go to my website, greenerteen.com, GREENERTEEN.com. And then my books will be available by the time this probably goes out on all platforms, Apple Books, Google Books, Amazon. It's in Barnes and Nobles now, and Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those are the places that have the books at. Yeah, it's probably a couple more since I have expanded distribution now. But yeah, those are the main places. And audiobook will be coming out probably within the next month or two. I know a lot of people have been asking me about that. I haven't gotten the time to record that yet, but that'll be out in probably the next month and a half. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
Don't worry, I'm in the same boat. I've had people ask the same thing, and I'm just like, listen, I already set aside the ISBN for the audio version. I just
Yeah.
things have just been going with this other one, so I hear you loud and clear on that one already.
Yeah, that I know that'll take longer than I probably planned, just because it has to be mastered and everything like that, and edited and stuff like that. So
yeah, for me, after listening to Will Smith's audio book, I've been so scared to do my my audio book, because his was so good. I mean, he added like music and sound effects for almost everything that he was reading. I'm just like, if I'm gonna do it, I want that quality for mine as well. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like what they and then I'm still trying to figure out how should I structure that too. I listened to a little bit of that, but I listened to a lot of have you ever listened to or read Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins?
No. Why does that name that name sounds familiar? Did he write something else as well?
I'm not sure, but I know that's the main book. I'm pretty sure he's the only ex-Navy SEAL and something else. But I read a decent amount of it. It's really good. It's actually really good.
Nice.
So yeah, he did an interview like between himself and another narrator in between like each chapter, to explain what happened in each chapter. That was cool. So yeah.
Okay. Raekwon's book is like that too. Raekwon from Wu-Tang. I read his book too, and he did that same thing that you just spoke of at the end of every chapter. But yeah, yeah. So we are literally walking similar paths, my friend. And I keep telling myself I gotta go ahead and get that done. I had a friend of mine who's going through vision problems, so she has a tough time reading. And I literally was privileged to read the book to her. So we would get together every morning, and I would read chapters with her because she kept saying, "Ray, I keep hearing so many good things about the book, and I'm thankful that God provided time and space for us to get together, and I was able to read it to her." So the audio version is important. So I look forward to seeing yours when it comes out, and hopefully I get some fire up underneath me to get mine out there too. Yeah. Well, listen, man, I've kept you long enough, Ayyub. I'm gonna leave you with this. I know people will probably put a lot of pressure on you to be the face of your generation. And I like what you said earlier. I'm just going to tell you what it is for me. Keep being the standout person that you are, right? And don't allow the world or anybody else to put unnecessary pressure on who you are. Be forgiving and give yourself grace, and continue to explore and create every level of success that you want for yourself, man. I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to get your story out to the people. I can't wait to see this relaunch as it unfolds, and stay positive. And you always got a friend in me, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I'll play catch up with you next time.
Yes, sir. We'll talk soon.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Keep climbing up the ladder. A Black Lives Matter. It matter. So all you young people, give me all. 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 Matter. A Black Black lives matter. They matter, they matter. Our Black lives matter.